Hello and welcome back to another video. Hope you guys are having a wonderful day. And today we will be talking about WSL or Windows Subsystem for Linux. Now, if you don't know, Windows has a software that allows you to run the Linux terminal directly onto Windows. So it is done using a software called Windows Subsystem for Linux, or the topic we are talking about today. It is a great for users who want to learn Linux but don't want to virtualize or dual boot, or more specifically who want to learn the Linux commands, or want to learn how the Linux terminal works. But if you are someone who is trying to learn about the interfaces or how the file system works, the advanced thing, then I would not recommend this. I would recommend you get a virtualized system or you dual boot your machine. So with that out of the way, if you like what I do, then hit that like button and subscribe. I'm hoping to hit 100 subs by the end of the year. So subscribe and let me know what you would like to see in the next video. Let me know in the comments down below. Now, self-promotion aside, today we will be installing Ubuntu in WSL. Now, WSL has a variety of options that you can use. You don't have to go Ubuntu. I'm going Ubuntu just to show you how you have to install and set up WSL. And there is a varieties. There are variety of options. You can go Kali Linux, Debian. Here's the list of which WSL is supported. So now what do we have to do is, first let's see how we can get WSL. So to do this, go to your Microsoft Store. Now you need Microsoft Store because, well, Windows doesn't Microsoft doesn't allow you to get it from somewhere else, and well, since it is coming from official source, doing this from here is very nice. So for this you need to search Windows Subsystem. This one, Windows Subsystem. And if you search this, you will see this on top. It will say Windows Subsystem for Linux preview, and this is a preview because, well, this is not finalized, so some things may be a little bit wonky, but it works really well. So if you get into this, you should see a install button right here. Now you have to click that. You know what I'm about to say, right? Why are you waiting for me? Like, click that install button and it should install. Get out of here. It should install Windows Subsystem in your machine. Now after it is done installing, don't get too excited and try to open it right away. Like, the reason why you can't open it right away is because that your subsystem is not set up yet. You have to set up the subsystem to run a particular distro. Then whenever you run your subsystem or whenever you run WSL, it will go run that by default. So let's say we configure Ubuntu, then whenever you run WSL, it will run the Ubuntu by default. If you install Kali Linux, it will run Kali Linux by default. Now let's see what we have to do to install Ubuntu. Now if you, the keen-eyed among you must notice that, well, I already have this installed, so I will do this all over again. I did this just to for testing purposes and seeing if this actually works. This is a preview thing and yada yada. So let me uninstall this, and it's really easy to uninstall a distro. You just have to right click here and there is uninstall option right here. You just click this and there you go. Now you don't have that anymore. So, well, after we uninstall it, now let's reinstall it or install it, and let me show you the full process of how to do it. So let's just close this, and now you need to go to your command prompt. You can use PowerShell as well, but I like to use command prompt just because it is convenient. To get to command prompt, you have to do Windows R, then type CMD, and CMD is just short for command prompt. And you can get it here right like that way, or you can just go here and then search for CMD and you should see command prompt right here. and if you click this, it will bring up the same window. So after we are here, what we have to type is WSL. This is to show you what are available. So WSL dash dash list and then dash dash online. So this will go online and check for all the distros that you can download. And there we go. Now we have the option, like these are the options that you can install on your WSL. So we have Ubuntu, Debian, oops, let me make this a bit bigger. So we have Ubuntu, Debian, Kali Linux. You can even install Ubuntu in a specific version. So we will install this one, like this specific version. Like it should by default, if you install Ubuntu, it should go here by default, but still we'll like to specify this. Now, if you notice this, here it says how to install it. So WSL is pretty good at explaining things. So this is how to install it. Now if you notice that this says wsl.exe, but here we did not type the exe. That is because it is not required. So whenever you install WSL from the Microsoft Store, the command prompt identifies it by default. So typing WSL and WSL.exe means the same thing. So you don't need to type the exe. So if you don't believe me, let me show you. So we will be installing this one right here. So we need to type exactly this. Like this doesn't matter. So these are just it says friendly name. That's because this is the name that is known in the website, and this is the name that you need to type to install it. So let's install that one. So let's go WSL install. Oops, we need to double dash. I'm sorry, double install. And then we type Ubuntu -20.04, and then if we hit enter, and then here you can see it's saying installing Ubuntu 20.04 LTS. So it is installing this one right here. Now this will mostly depend on your internet connection and your storage speed as to how fast this happens. So let's just wait for it to install. So as you can see, it is not moving at all, but if I do Control C, then you can see it's saying Ubuntu has been installed. So this may happen if you have already installed an OS and well and you're trying to install it again. This may happen, so don't worry too much. And if it takes too long, just hit Control C and it will update the command prompt. But if you are a new user, it should not do this. I don't know why it did that, but well, now you know what you have to do if that happens. So well, that aside, now as you can see, it says installing this not that, sorry, this says please create a default Unix user account. The username does not need to match your Windows username. So this is wanting us to create a new user. So this is the process where if you have installed Linux before, you know that you need a user and a password by default. So Linux won't let you use a system without a password. So let's do a username. Let me do so, then hit enter. Now it will want a password. Just type a password that you can remember. So, there you go. And now it's that simple. Now you're in a Linux terminal. So let me just clear this up. So we are in a Linux terminal right now. So as you can see, this logo indicates that we are indeed in a Linux terminal. But if you want to like get out of this terminal, you just have to type log out, and that will close it instantly. So how do you open this? Like the easy way, the most easy way. So you just get to CMD, then just type WSL, hit enter, and there you go. Now you have into this system, and as you can see here it is in a directory, like we are not in root. That is because when you type WSL, it will by default get to this directory where your user is at. So you can just type cd and it will take you to the root directory. So let me just clear this, and again if you want to go back, you can just do log out. You're back into cmd. So it's fairly simple. There you go. Now after you're here, then let's type some Linux command. So let me update the repositories. Sudo apt update, asking for my password. There you go. Now as you can see, this command only works with Linux. Like Windows doesn't have any use for it. So if this is working, that means that we have a working Linux terminal. So let's just wait for it to update. Then we'll install a software that will allow us to see what we are running. So let's just wait. I don't know why this keeps happening, but it just gets stuck for some reason. Now you can see that I am not cutting these things out because, well, you guys need to know what you may face if you are working with this. It is usually really stable, but I don't know why it is doing this, like doing these weird things. But as I said before, like if you are having this type of issues, just hit Control C and it will update the terminal, so you can work from there. And it works, and as you see, it is a preview, so it's not a finalized version. So there are some things that are a little bit finicky. So let's install a thing. So let's install screen fetch so we can see what we are running. There we go. It is installing screen fetch. And as you can see, that time it works flawlessly. So there was no hiccups or anything. And let me just do this, clear it again. So let me just do screen fetch dash p. And there we go. Now this is what we are running. Oops. Oh my god. What the heck? So this is what we are running right now. So this is Ubuntu 22 Focal, and it says right here on the Windows subsystem for Linux. So this Ubuntu version knows that we are running it on the Windows subsystem. And if you go to Ubuntu's website, there is an option of Windows subsystem, and you have all the information right here. And let me show you something. So as you can see, this says RAM is 8 gigabytes, almost there, but it's 8 gigabytes. Then if we go to my task manager, hold up, it's on my second monitor, and if we see here, then you can see that I have total of 16 gigabytes of RAM. So what this is doing is almost like, or it is like virtualizing this Ubuntu, this terminal, in order for it to run. And well, it is showing that we have 2.8 terabytes of storage, which is not true. I have a little bit less, but it's close enough. But other than that, it is a fairly like simple thing. You can let's say you can create folders or files. Let's do touch s.txt. And if we do ls, you can see it created a file. We can edit the file. You can say nano. Yes, and the tab also works. So, and here we are. We can let's say this is the Windows subsystem for Linux, and we can just save this. And if we do ls, it's still there. And so again, if you do nano, you can see it works like a normal distribution. So let me just close this. So you can try running this, and even if you have a little bit of issues here and there, it is not very risky. Like, it's easy to run. And if you have a little bit older machine which is not that powerful, you can try this. Like, if you can run Windows 11, like, why not? Why go through the hassle of dual booting when you can just do this? And again, this is mostly for beginners. So if you are someone who is trying to install sorry, not install, if you're trying to learn about the terminal and how Linux terminal works and how to work inside of a terminal, then this is a very good option, because you do not lose the comfort of Windows while you're using Linux. And if you are afraid of the Linux Penguin, this is also a very good option. So now let's just log out. That's all. You can also install some GUI stuff. Like, if you want to see me try to install a GUI on this, then please let me know in the comments. I will install a GUI in WSL and run it like a virtual machine. So if you would like to see that, leave a like and let me know in the comments down below. Well, that's all. I have nothing more to say. If you like the video, then subscribe, and let's hit 100 subs by the end of the year. Bye.